This video is presented by EA Game Changers. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Today is another episode of Love It or List It, the series on my channel where I attempt to renovate the default EA lots that come with the game. So today's episode is using the new Sims 4 stuff pack, Tiny Living. So thank you so much to the EA team and the Game Changers program for giving me early access to this pack so I could show you guys these cool new videos and let you guys know how the pack is and stuff. So you might be thinking, how are you going to renovate a new EA default home with the Tiny Living stuff pack if we didn't get a brand new world? Well, the answer to that actually is we did get a default tiny home with this stuff pack. So if you actually go to the gallery when you have this stuff pack installed and you go to the view content by Maxis, you'll see that there actually is this default tiny home starter that comes with the pack. And it's by Maxis and it's a tiny home residential home. It's a starter home. Obviously, it's under 20,000 simoleons and it only uses a base game and the Tiny Living stuff pack. So it says, this beautiful modern style tiny home is 90% completed and is perfect for those who want to get into living tiny very fast. Move in ready. So that sounds very intriguing. So I'm actually going to place that down. Here it looks like it was built in Oasis Springs, so I'm going to place it in Oasis Springs as well, and I'm going to place it furnished down on this lot. So I'm just going to slot it in where I think it fits, which is right there. And we're going to see what we have to work with today. So before we get started on seeing what we have to work with, I'm going to actually move my sim in here. Because this is a starter home, I want to keep it a starter home, so I am only going to be using a 20,000 simoleon budget to move my sim into this home, and also whatever remaining funds she has left is what I'm going to use to renovate this home. So let me just go do that really quickly. Okay, I've moved my sim into this home, and now, unfortunately, we only have 809 simoleons left, so really not a lot once we've placed this home down into this lot. I think I did choose a little bit more of an expensive lot in Oasis Springs, but I did want to put it in like a nice neighborhood. I don't really like the neighborhoods that are over there and kind of like not as nice, so I think this one looks super cute right here. So this is the home we have to work with, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Sim Guru Ninja might have built this one. So super good job, super duper cute. I love how it is definitely a tiny home, and if we actually look at the specs of this tiny home, it does fall into the tier 1 micro home category, which is the most challenging type of tiny home. It's only 32 tiles maximum, and this home is 30 out of 32 tiles, so it's pretty much at its limit. And this home does come with the most benefits. So it comes with lesser bills, it comes with better relationship gain, comes with better plant growth, it comes with you feeling happy all the time, your skills increase at a faster rate, and everything is twice as comfortable. So there are definitely a lot of benefits in living in a home this small. So that's why I want to fix this one up for you guys and kind of make it worth your time and make it like something you want to put in your game. Not to say that this isn't already really nice. To be honest, for a default home, like it's a pretty good shape. I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, the columns are placed nicely. The landscaping is pretty cool. There's a lot of terrain tools going on. So it's not the worst thing in the world, to be honest, but I do just want to put a little bit more of my Dr. Ashley spin on things and, maybe change up these columns, because I feel like these columns are a little bit formal, and then I feel like this tiny home is giving me like shack vibes, like not so much something that would use formal columns like that. So maybe I want to change that. I do want to change the color scheme a little bit. It's looking a little bit too brown toned. I don't really like the yellow. That's just personal preference though, so I think I do want to change that. I'm not going to do much with like the shape or facade of the home though, because it is already at its limit basically for tile usage, so there isn't really much else I can add in terms of like home additions. But let's take a look at what the inside looks like. Okay, so on the inside, if you walk in, there is this kind of kitchen area that is kind of closed off by this wall. And all it is just a tiny little fridge, a microwave on a counter, and a tiny little bar stool and bar table there. So, it's very cramped in here. As you can see, it's just like one tile long, so there isn't much space to walk around. I might want to just like open this up, because I feel like when you have a tiny home, you don't want to like close off too many spaces. But out here, it's that nice TV, some nice furniture. These all came with the new pack, so I really like that. And then we have the lovely Murphy bed right here. So this is actually quite a decent sized space. I feel like we can use it a little bit more effectively and make a little bit more out of this space. So I'm gonna try and do that and try and work my magic there. I do like these really big windows though. It gives a lot of natural light, as well as that big window right there. And then right here we have a little bit of a bathroom. There's no door. That's fine, because this is pretty much like a studio. I don't think you're having many guests over in this home, so you don't really need a door, I guess. I'm okay with that. And then just the new bathroom set that came with the new tiny living pack. Just a decent sized bathroom and a nice big window here. Hopefully no one looks at you through this window, but yeah, nothing really to complain about in the bathroom. I might change the flooring, maybe change the wallpaper, and yeah, just kind of see what I can do. So that is the shortest tour I've ever done, I think, just because this home is so tiny. Again, it's only 30 tiles. There isn't a lot of space to work with here, but there is enough. I do like the general idea here. I just want to spruce it up a bit, make it a little bit nicer, make it something that's more my style. But in terms of the general layout, I do like what they've done here, and yeah, I can't wait to get started on this one. And again, I only have a budget of 809 simoleons, so yeah, I don't really know how this is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make really big improvements or just small improvements, but whatever it may be, I just want to make a nice tiny micro starter home that you guys can put into your game. So without further ado, let's get started on today's renovation. Okay, you guys, so this is going to be the quickest renovation I've ever done, as you guys know, because this is the smallest home I've ever renovated in my entire life. I mean, 32 tiles for a home. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But on a side note, I do think it's kind of cool how they gave us a default home with this pack, even though this pack didn't come with a new world, if you know what I mean. Because usually we only get default homes when the pack comes with a brand new world, like expansion packs or game packs. But with this stuff pack, even though there is no new world, we are still getting some kind of like default homes to work with. So I think that's a pretty cool concept. I hope that they continue with that concept going forward, because it's just nice to have some extra content to work with when you do buy the game, whether it's new furniture or new features or even like new pre-built homes. I do think that they're nice extra features to add in to packs and stuff like that. So as you can see, I didn't want to change too much of the home or the facade or the shape of the home, because I still wanted it to resemble what it used to be. So I did change up the color scheme a little bit, added a little bit more brightness and some more white coloring to the trimmings, to the columns, to the foundation, just to make it look a little bit more bright and modern. Because I think the old color scheme made it kind of feel like a shack, kind of like a little bit of a cabin. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I felt like the interior furnishings, especially with the way that this pack is designed, the furniture is a little bit more modern. So I felt that a more modern looking exterior would go a little bit better. So I did, change just a couple colors on the outside here and there and add a little bit more brightness. So that's pretty much all I do. At the very end, you do see that on one of the gabled roof pieces, no, not the gabled roof piece, one of the roof pieces near the front, kind of where that overhang is, I do change it to a glass roof, just to give it that extra kick of modern touch. So I do that at the very end, kind of like a last minute decision. But here you can see we are working on the interior already. We're moving super quick with this one. I'm trying to just figure out what kind of color scheme I want to go with the walls. I think at the moment it's kind of like a yellow and a blue. I'm not a fan of that kind of thing, you guys, you know that. So I do change it to this nice white brick, which I do love. I think I I've been using that a lot lately, and it's kind of like a new-ish base game swatch that we've gotten. It's not super brand new, but it is relatively new. We didn't have that like a year ago. I can't remember what update it came in, but I've really been loving using that. It's super nice, and I've liked it for a lot of my like farmhouse builds as well. But for the kitchen, I opened up the kitchen area like I said I would. I just thought that it made more sense to do that. It really doesn't make sense to close off that space whatsoever because it's so tiny. Why would you do that to yourself? Now you have a little bit more space to walk, and when you're eating in that little counter in that corner there, you don't feel so cramped because there's no wall behind you anymore. So I thought that that was a nice little touch there and super easy way to like fix things up. So I didn't change anything in the kitchen in terms of like layout, just because I felt like the layout that they had already made the most sense, and I didn't have enough money to add like a full-on stove anyways, so I figured I'd just keep it like as is. I did change some of the color swatches around just to give it a little bit more warmth with the brown countertops. So yeah, I felt like putting that brown countertop definitely felt like an upgrade. Also because that counter looks like it has like a lot of storage underneath and stuff. So I felt like it went with the kind of like darker brown vibe that I was going for. But yeah. I also kept the Murphy bed in the same spot, and the bathroom. I actually could have made the bathroom a bit smaller, I feel like. Maybe that was a little bit of a missed opportunity. I was going to, I don't know why I didn't think of doing that, but maybe I should have decreased the bathroom size by like 1 tile, so it was only 4 tiles instead of 6 tiles, but I just felt like it already looked pretty good the way that it was, so I didn't touch that. I think the only thing I could have gained out of doing that was maybe making the kitchen a little bit bigger. So if you do decide to download this, maybe you could push that bathroom in 1 more tile just to make it a little bit smaller so you can have a bigger kitchen. But here you can see I'm kind of trying to work with the space I have in terms of the living room. So I did feel that the TV was kind of unrealistically far away from the couch. I know that TV kind of has to go against a wall, so I was kind of trying to find a way for it to work and it be closer to the couch because it just feels like it's so far and the TV's not very big, so I don't even know if you'd be able to see that far. So I do end up bringing it up closer. You'll see me do it later, but for the most part, the color scheme I went for here was just very neutral. White walls, dark wood finishes, and I did add slight pops of color here and there, like with that light blue rug and some of the blue in the paintings. And besides that, not a ton of color. I did a really colorful build in my last video, so link that down below if you want to check it out. I did every single stuff pack item in one build. So all the tiny living stuff that came with this pack, I put it all in one tiny home. And I did it kind of like a brown and turquoise color scheme. So if you're interested in seeing a more colorful tiny home, I'll link that one down below. But for this one, I want to keep it a little bit more neutral with slight blue pops of color, but nothing too overwhelming because it is a really small space. But here you can see I am trying to fit a desk into this build. The description did say that it was only 90% finished, so I feel like that extra 10% kind of just needed a little bit more functionality to this build. So I feel like a desk is pretty much a staple in any, Sims build because you can add like a computer and when you have a computer, you can, be a programmer, a writer, freelance stuff. So I felt like a desk was definitely a necessity. Or if you want to be like a university student that lives here, you're going to need a desk. So I really want to make that desk work in this build. So here you can see I'm trying to find a way to bring that television closer and kind of divide up the room a little bit more. So I'm using the new bookshelf that the pack came with, and I'm kind of using it as a room divider and also kind of like a mount for the TV. So I didn't want that TV to just be like floating anywhere. So I felt like putting that bookshelf there kind of made it seem a little bit more natural for it to be like mounted on the back of that bookshelf because it's like a divider in a way. And I think it also acts as a good way to kind of separate out the bedroom and the desk and the kitchen. So also I ended up running out of money, as you can see, because I only had like 800 simoleons, which is crazy. I'm surprised I even managed to make all of these changes with only 800 simoleons. So, claps for me, pat on the back for me. But what I ended up doing is I ended up selling one of the rocks because I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure it was Simguru Ninja that built this. I might be wrong though. So whoever did build this put like a $300 rock on the landscaping. And I don't know about you, but when we're building a $20,000 starter home, we don't have the funds to be purchasing $300 landscaping rocks, okay? That is not, in my opinion, the best use of funds. So in, classic Dr. Ashley Love It or List It style, I'm selling the landscaping to try and get more money. So I didn't want to touch the landscaping too much because, I did like how kind of like scattered and natural it did look. But I did have to sell one of the $300 rocks because, we can't afford $300 rocks, okay? We can afford the, $45 ones, but not the $300 ones. So I sold one of those to get a little bit more money. And then now I have some more money to, buy this lamp. I have the whole desk in. I use the poof. I have everything you really need to live like a good life here, I guess. So now we have the added bookshelf, the lamp, the desk, a TV. We have a dresser. We have the pull-out bed and the couch. Yeah, we have everything. This home definitely all came together, and I think if I had a little bit more money, I'd add a couple more decorations on the wall, some more rugs I think would be nice. And then I was going to say I'd put a back porch, but we can't actually add a back porch because we would exceed our tile limit. So this is pretty much all we can fit into this tiny, tiny home. But I think considering it's a micro home, which is the smallest possible one, I think that we jammed a lot of good stuff in here, so I think it's definitely a pretty good starter home, and it definitely feels like it has, everything you need. Usually when you make starter homes, they're really spacious, so they feel very empty, but because this one's so small, it definitely feels like it's like a fully functioning home that has everything. So I definitely really like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I know it wasn't a crazy, crazy renovation because it was so small, but again, it is just a starter home, and it is more my taste now, and that was kind of the goal here. So I hope that you guys liked it as well. But as per usual, you guys have to use the voting buttons up above, or let me know in the comment section down below whether or not you would love or list this renovation. Keep in mind, we only used 809 simoleons, or around that, to renovate this entire thing. So keep that in mind when you're passing your judgment. But yeah, besides that, I hope you guys are enjoying all the tiny home videos that have been coming out so far from other game changers or myself. I have a lot of other ones planned and coming up. And yeah, it sounds like you guys are pretty excited for this pack and you like the items so far. I did see some criticism of the fact that we didn't get much kitchen stuff with this pack, and at the time I thought it wasn't really a big deal, but looking back on it, I do kind of agree that I think that we should have got some tiny living kitchen stuff. The fact that we got a sink and a toilet is nice, but they aren't necessarily revolutionary in space saving. But I feel as if they came up with some sort of revolutionary space saving kitchen appliance, that definitely would have changed the game a little bit for me. And I think that could have been a missed opportunity right there. I also think a pull-out couch on top of the Murphy beds could have been a cool addition as well. So all of these ideas are kind of coming to me as I'm reading your comments and doing some builds, and I'm realizing that, there could have been a little bit more real, revolutionary tiny home items in this pack, especially when it comes to the kitchen. So I definitely hear you guys there, and I definitely agree with that criticism. But yeah, besides that, I really do love all the other items we got. Whether they're going to be used in a tiny home or a regular size home in the future, I do think that I am going to get a lot of use out of these items, and I hope that you guys agree with that. But yeah, besides that, the renovation is pretty much complete, so the before and after screenshots should be happening. Wow, this was such a quick video. I barely had any time to talk about anything because it just went so fast. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up and leave a comment down below what you thought about it and whether or not we should love or list this renovation. And if this is our first time meeting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to be friends or if you want to see more Sims 4 videos. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye everybody!